Good morning. Good morning. We're on the air. Habits. Habits. Bad habits. Defects. Character defects. Shortcomings. The actions that grow out of character defects. Today what I want to talk about is renouncing those things. I want to talk about releasing them, eliminating them, letting them go. And of course, letting them go, that goes along with that phrase of let go, let God. And this is really the key to this whole idea. Really, on our own, we have limited ability to change. We can change our behaviors somewhat. The problem is that when the pressure gets on us, when things begin to get stressful, we begin to slip in all of our good intentions, all of the ways that we want to change and be, kinder, more loving people in the world. All the good intentions that we can muster go out the window when all of these everyday stresses start to pile up on top of us. But there's another way to do this, and that way is to simply ask Spirit within us to relieve us of these things. And this is really a crucial part of this mystical path that we're on, because what we're looking for here is not first an outer change, although I do want to say that it is courageous. It is really the best thing we can do is to try to control these negative behaviors and negative thoughts. I mean, it's much better to just simply hold on with both hands and not do the hurtful thing, not say the harmful thing. Obviously, it's better to forcibly through our will to not say it. The problem is that, as I said at the beginning, that if there's enough pressure on us, it'll slip out. It comes out. And so we can begin with this idea of the physical abstinence from the negative and move from that into this mental realm where we decide to try to replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts, but it is in the spiritual aspect that we're really going to find relief, and that's the area where we are going to give all of this mess to God. And so vision is part of this. Vision, to establish a vision in mind of what our lives would be like. So this is just a simple meditation. If we sit quietly and just imagine what our life would be like if, instead of being so conditional with people, instead of putting requirements on people, instead of expecting folks to behave in the role that we have assigned them, what if we could be unconditional? What does life look like? Just think about our interactions during the day and how much different they might be if we could simply just let people be who they are. And not just let them be who they are, but be happy in their lives, to be happy with them the way they are. And if we have a situation where people are acting in ways that we believe are harmful to us, it doesn't mean that we have to hang out with them. We can allow them to go on their own way, but we don't want to hold on to them in our minds either, holding resentments, being upset about their behavior, judging what they do, to simply say, let them be, to be totally unconditional with them and extend the love that's within us to them regardless of their behavior, however disturbing that it may seem. So how would it be, what would it feel like if instead of envying the good fortune of others, we could be happy for their good fortune? Even those people who we may judge as coming into their good fortune by some ill-gotten means, we're just able to be happy for their good fortune. And if we think about this, the bitterness that arises from envy actually interferes with us achieving and manifesting the good that is in the world for ourselves. So what would that be like then, if instead of being envious, we could be happy for someone else's happiness? And what does it feel like to stop going around every day, multiple times during the day, saying, if only I had certain things, then everything would be all right? What would it be like if instead of being tied up in this covetousness, in this if-only syndrome, if we were able to generate gratitude for what we have, to begin our day with gratitude, just simple gratitude for life, gratitude for the connections of life, gratitude for our being, so to speak. And then further, what if the hole within us was filled? What if instead of being greedy, instead of always thinking about what we lack, we were actually filled with Spirit? Because this is the thing that we discovered in the meditation earlier, is that who we really are is this pure and loving Spirit. That's our true identity. So if we can see that filling the hole of greed, and you see that as an iteration of God filling that inner hole of greed in us, what's that like? Call it fulfillment. Call it filled with Spirit. Call it full of the Spirit of recovery. What does that feel like? Just quietly consider these ideas. What would it be like if instead of running around in manic activity or sitting on the couch unable to move, what would it be like if I easily moved into right action, doing the right thing for the right reason at the right time? What if instead of this kind of mindless activity or total inertia, what would my life look like if I moved from one good thing to another with ease and grace? And what about vanity? What if I stopped worrying about what other people thought about me? What if you totally were able to be yourself and not look for acceptance or approval? To realize, again, as in the meditation, that which is within us is actually us. That light that is within us is us. That Spirit within us is us. And it is a child of the universe. We are child of God. And so we don't have to try to put on airs. We don't have to try to act like something else. Think of the confidence of that, of having that true humility, of knowing who we are, not having to act like something else. And what would it be like if instead of being angry, what would it be like if we could go into almost instant forgiveness? The moment the anger comes to us, if we could just release it into forgiveness, understanding that the only reason we were angry is because we felt threat. Understanding that the only reason that we were angry in the first place is because we felt put upon, that we felt like something was going to be taken from us. We weren't going to get what we wanted. somehow we have not been respected. If we could just release that anger, knowing that whoever it was that was involved, that they were just operating under the same misconception that we have been all this time. What does a life like that look like? It looks like the mystical life. It looks like the mystical life wherein we have this inner awakening, where we have this inner experience which leads us into the outer demonstration of these principles everywhere that we go. Leads us to a full and a fulfilling life. And with that vision in mind, we might pray, knowing that the issue is that we can't just decide for these things and make them happen through some force of will. We can't carry around a list with us of how we're going to act in each situation. We have to allow this divine presence in us, the light in us, that pure and loving spirit in us. We have to allow that to guide us in these things and understand that all of that true help is coming from the presence of God that is within us and all around us. To remember that this is what we're asking for, not that we engineer some scheme in order to change the way that we act in the world, but rather that we allow the good that is in us to eliminate these things that we now find negative. So the thing that I want to tell myself, the seventh thing that I tell myself every morning is through the power of elimination. I release all dis-ease, disorder, dysfunction in my mind and body. So there's this power of elimination. And this is what I take my willingness that we gathered, previously, and I put it into action by saying, at least I'm going to let go of them. I'm willing to let go of these things. I know it takes God to clean it up, but I am going to be willing to let it go. So through this power of elimination, and I see it just like the model that the body takes the things that it can't use, the things that really, the poisons, the impurities, and removes them. And we can think about it the same way as with these bad habits and these attributes that really have become burdensome to us now, that don't help us in our lives. And so through this power of elimination, I have a power of elimination in my mind. And the power, of course, it comes from God. There's this power of elimination in my mind, and through that what I want to do is I'm going to release, I'm going to let go. I'm saying, yes, I am now ready. I want to let go of these unfortunate things. I want to let them go. I can even bless them. I can bless them on their way, and say, and so what it is any disease. So I want to talk about that. So we can think about disease in a number of ways. We can think about the disease, just the word dis-ease. I am not at ease with life. I cannot be at ease with life because I have some physical problems. I could not be at ease with life because I have some mental problems. And so what I want to see as part of this process of elimination is not just eliminating negative characteristics, but anything negative that I find in my life. Any piece that is unattractive, any part of my life that I would like to be rid of, anything that is causing pain. So it could be a physical ailment. It could be, and we should remember very clearly that these issues where we're having problems in relationships as a result of what people call character defects, those issues are part of dis-ease, and they can be, and they are also some sort of disorder in us. So we think about, I want to release this. I want to release this. I want to release any physical problems. I want to release any mental problems. Again, I can't do it on my own. Out of ego, I can't do it. In the midst of ego, I can't figure out a way to make this happen. So I want to take this willingness and say, I'm going to use this elimination and I'm going to see it happen. I'm going to visualize it. I'm going to see this dis-ease, this disorder moving out of my life. And the last one that I have listed is this dysfunction. I'm going to let this dysfunction flow away so that then I have a clear vision in my mind of a life in which I act out of love, a life in which the love that I'm continually receiving, I am also continually giving back into the flow. I have a vision of a life in which I am an integral part of society, moving us all towards this goal of harmony, towards this goal of unity, towards coming back together where everyone knows that we are all a part of this great web of life, to put everything back in order, to get all of my positive attributes in front of any negative attributes. To see ourselves laying aside grievances, to stop holding our brothers and sisters hostage to our complaints, to get a picture of ourselves reconciling with those whom we may have been having problems with. This is where we're going. This is the vision of the future. These are the habits that we are going to change. I want to just read something here. It's called All the Talents of God. All the talents of God are within you. How could this be otherwise when your soul derived from his genes? I love that expression. All the talents of God are within you. Sometimes Hafiz cannot help but to applaud certain words that rise from my depths, like the scent of a lover's body. Hold this book close to your heart, for it contains wonderful secrets. All the talents of God are within you. And this is telling us, Hafiz in his humorous poetry, telling us that these talents of God that are within us can replace the former skills that we may have used to navigate what we thought was a dangerous and treacherous world. And we can stop being, we can stop being the person in this poem. This poem is called Dropping Keys. So the small man builds cages for everyone. He knows. While the sage, who has to duck his head when the moon is low, keeps dropping keys all night long for the beautiful, rowdy prisoners. And so here's a vision of us. Stop restricting people. Stop judging people. Stop holding people to our own ideas of what they should be, and to release them to be who they are. And think about being, there's another poem here that goes along with this idea of, we may have had a vision of ourselves as being just a pawn in life. So we may have had this idea of ourselves as the forces that be are just like moving us around on this gigantic game board, and the only thing that we can do is occasionally through our wits we can figure out some way to get an advantage. But here's what he says about that, what Hafiz says about that. He says in The Heart's Coronation, he says, the pawn always sits stunned, chained, unable to move, beneath God's magnificent power. It is essential for the heart's coronation, for the pawn to realize there is nothing but divine movement in this world. And so the reason that we sit immobilized, or even when we are moving, we are not effective, is because we are trying to move only on the ego's power. And we are not using this strong divine power that is within us all the time. Finally, to realize the reality of spirit. This is where we're going. The reality of spirit. We're going to a place where we are going to no longer be lost in the illusions of the world. Sometimes we become attached to dreams of material things. This exercise is going to release us from those dreams. There's nothing wrong with material things. We just don't want them to own us. We sometimes become remorseful over some seeming mistake of the past. Occasionally, we spend our present moments lost in the unreality of yesterday. And this is not really leaving. So we should take each moment and realize the holiness that is within us and all around us. We should take a few moments to relax into the presence of God. This presence of God that is going to give us all of these things, is going to give us relief from these problems.